Hello, learners. Hello. I hope I am audible. Let me know in the chat if I am audible. You can see me clearly. Okay, we are going to start with our class right now. And sharp at 8 o'clock, we'll be starting in 2 minutes. In meanwhile, if you can see me, if you can hear me clearly, please do let me know. If I'm not audible, let me know. I hope I'm audible. All right, let's start. So today is our fourth class for IGCSE Global Perspective Power Batch. We started on 10th of February, and every Tuesday we have live classes for Global Perspective Power Batch. The intention with which I started this batch is for all the learners who want to bridge the gap from the C's and the B's to A and A stars. So these are structured, focused, rigorous sessions live on KA Prep's YouTube channel every Tuesday. And today we are going to start with the topic for today's class is individual report, research question. Very frequently asked question. In fact, I had also got a lot of comments on my channel with respect to this research question, which is anyways planned in our live classes. The reason I'm taking it up right now because just these batches are for the students who will be appearing for GP exams in 2027 and 28. So if you are starting with your individual report now, individual research now, the primary thing is the basic part is you should be able to frame an excellent research question. Okay? So as we go on, let's start with the class rules. The first and the most important rule of our classes are one, for the next 60 minutes, you have to turn off all the distractions. Keep everything aside. These are not casual YouTube videos, they are live classes, serious on a serious level, and they are structured classes for getting an A star in global perspective. Second, watch this class on laptop or tablet, not on phone. If you are viewing these classes through phone, please switch to your laptop or tablet so that you can get an immersive experience and you will be engaged and focused throughout the class. Third, ask a lot of questions. Feel free to put down your questions in the chat. Feel free to ask questions similar to what we do in general with our actual uh, classes. Discuss. Since this involved global perspective, I am going to initiate a lot of discussion, which will basically help us understand the perspective of different students from across the globe. This channel has viewers from different parts of the globe, not only a specific country. We have viewers from Indonesia, we have viewers from Malaysia, UK, Sri Lanka, India, Nigeria, all of these regions, Dubai. So when you start discussing in the chat, you will be able to get the global view to each point, which will help you to also understand how an A star answer. You're not only competing your school or your country, Rather, you're competing across the globe. Fifth is take a lot of notes. I hope you have made a separate notebook for my classes. Complete all the assignments on Google Classroom. So whatever assignments I upload it on Google Classroom. Make sure you join the classroom. I have linked it in the description of this live. You will be able to find the link. Please join Google Classroom and upload assignments on time. I do keep a track of how many students are seriously working on their global perspective A-star journey through the right assignment submission. Okay. And the most important thing is here, let's move on to the most important part of the class, that is your learning objective. What is the learning objective for today's class? We are going to understand the steps to frame individual research question. Learners, if I am clearly audible, please let me know in the chat. If I am echoing or not audible, anything, please let me know. All right. So what we will be learning today is how to frame your individual research question. Now, individual, your report carries 60 marks, individual research report. And it's easy to score marks, but the basics start with, yes, thank you, reflex, great. If I'm clear. Okay, so the basic to start understanding this individual report is to frame the right research question, because many a times we start with all the energy, we start with a question which is very trending, lot of people are talking about it, you see a lot of news on that topic, and then when you start with the research, you get it approved by your teacher, then you realize, oh no, I don't have enough references for this research topic. And hence, I always tell my students that we are going to follow these steps that I'm going to share in today's class to understand how to frame an individual research question. And in this week's members only live class, that is your extension for A-Star Learning, we will be basically refining broad topics into manageable research scope. So if you have to join my global perspective, my Google Classroom, I will be posting a question. You will upload one small document with your research question. You won't type it out. It should not be publicly seen. I will go through your research question, and during our Saturday's members only live, I will discuss how to refine each research question. What are the steps? I will basically focus on the steps, and you will also get a reward on your Google Classroom if you are a member, that what exact changes you need to do in your research question to get the best research question. All the links to join Google Classroom and also to join Saturday's members only classes, it's there in the description. You can check it out. All right, so how to become a member? You have to simply click on the join button on this channel. Join, as you can see over here, this button. And once you see that, you can see different instructions by YouTube to become a member. In the chat, quickly tell me now whether you have joined through laptop, PC, tablet, or mobile phones. Please let me know in the chat if you have joined through laptop, PC, tablet, or mobile phone. Okay. If you have joined through mobile phones, a humble request to please switch to laptops and laptops or tablets, because then only then you will be able to actually learn a lot from this class. Okay. Now, before we move on, I want to give you a clarity on why my classes are structured A-Star Global Perspective Roadmap. They are not just random sessions, classes happening on YouTube Live. I have structured it in such a way that if any learner who follows the pathway that I am going to share, that learner hits the benchmark of an A or an A star. This is curated through my 10 plus years of experience of teaching Cambridge curriculum, specifically global perspective. So the first level of my A star global perspective roadmap is the foundation level. In the foundation level, you have to join Tuesday YouTube Live, IGCSE Global Perspective Power Batch, that is today's class. Every Tuesday it will happen. In these classes, we focus on concept clarity, understanding the mark scheme, breaking down question types, and building your global perspective academic vocabulary. It's very important for you to make sure you join these classes. Try joining it live, but if it doesn't match your schedule, or if it is not, or on some day, if you end up missing these classes, you can always watch the recording of these classes. The second level to this A star journey is, okay, you to join this class, you have to simply hit on that subscribe button. Once you subscribe and hit on that notification, you will be notified through YouTube to join these classes. The second level of my A star roadmap is Saturdays members only YouTube live. Now, these are slightly more narrowed and focused live classes every Saturday, wherein we focus on full answer breakdown, how an A star learner will write the answer, the worksheet that I upload. I discuss all the answers every Saturday. We understand examiner marking style, and also most importantly, A star level application based learning. Everything is decoded on these Saturdays members only YouTube live sessions. You have to join these Saturdays member only live, you will find the link in the description, or you can hit this join button on the channel. You can see this join button. Wherever you see this join button on the channel, you have to hit that, and then you can join Saturdays members only live. The third part is the third and the topmost level of, I would say, I am slightly narrowing down. I am narrowing down to the students who are serious. YouTube Live is for everybody who are my subscribers. Saturday Live goes to my members, narrowed down. Narrowing it even further so that I can focus my energy on the ones who are really serious about getting an A star in global perspective. Comes the third level, that is A star legacy batch. These classes happens online on Google Meet. I have only 5 students per batch. In a year, I can only take 6 to 7 batches, that is around 30 students, and then we close the seats because obviously I cannot focus on more than 30 students per year. It is wherein I focus on personalized feedback, individual report mastery, regular assessment to check your progress, creation of A star level responses. Technically, I handhold my learners in this batch because I am interacting with them one to one live on Google Meet. To this has obviously we have some screening method because these batches are starting from 1st of April 2026. 1st April 2026. And to join these legacy batch, you have to find the Google form in the description. Fill up that Google form. You will get a screening question. Answer that screening question. You will also get the fee detail over there. And once you are selected, you will be notified by my team, and then you will be also notified through you will be notified with respect to the schedule also for the whole year. Okay, that is the topmost level. Now what are the expectations? Now let's start with our today's class, that is when you are framing an individual research question, what your global perspective examiner expects you to do. You all are aware that Individual report carries 60 marks. The best part about it is you have all the time to review, to correct, to improve, to take a feedback from the teacher, to again improve till the time you get the best format of your individual report. So this is the part which is not wherein you are not under the pressure of doing it only in those limited time period during your exam. You have complete time throughout the year to improve. And hence it's important to leverage this time availability in getting the right feedback from your teachers and improving your individual report. Let me tell you one fact. The difference between a B and an A is only of around 10 to 15 marks. Trust me, if you are able to jump by at least 5 to 10 marks in individual report, you are already bridging the gap from B to an A star. I believe in science backed, strategized learning methodology. And yes, I will make a small video on how global perspective paper is marked, and it will be a detailed video separate. But yes, understand there is only a difference of 10 to 15 mark. Okay. So use your time well, judiciously, and get your report perfect. In today's class, now this is one single paragraph I have picked up from your global perspective syllabus copy. The idea was I wanted to highlight certain important areas. Now, if you look at this thing, you will understand individual report must be based on one of the topic listed in the syllabus. So they have given you the list of topic from which you have to choose and write your individual report. In the next slide, I will show you all the topic. The guidance of the teacher, with the guidance of the teacher, candidate choose one of the specified topic, identify an important or interesting global issue related to the topic they have chosen. You have to choose the topic. That whole topic, broad topic, is not your global perspective um, is not your global perspective research question. Rather, you have to frame a narrowed down global perspective research question. I hope I'm clear until here. Now, I will move to the most important line of this paragraph. The global issue the candidate choose should be the one that divides opinion. How many of you had given attention to this line in your syllabus copy? The global issue the candidate choose should be the one that divides opinions. Can you let me know in the chat what have you understood after reading to this line? Because this I will call it as a golden line to frame your research question which is given in your syllabus copy itself. Many a times we just end up skimming through it and we don't read it to them. And that's why we are there. That's why teachers are there to help you understand and break it down for you all. Let me know in the chat what you understand from this line. I will just highlight few keywords from this line. I want you to focus on one that divides opinions. Focus on this thing only. It's already given that whenever you're framing your research question, it should be the one that divides opinion. Quickly let me know in the chat what you understood from these four words. One that divides opinions. That divides opinion. It's very clear when we say one that divides opinion. It talks about that you have to choose the topics from this list given in your syllabus copy, and while framing the research question should be framed in such a way that not all agree to it. It should be a narrow, focused, global question. It should also be it is very important that your research question is focusing on the present and future impact on the globe. And the fourth most important thing is your research question should be the question which has lot of references. Enough, you should have enough credible and authentic data available for your research question. And that's how you devise your research question. Now, I'm going to help you with how to break down the sentence, the global issue. The global issue candidate choose should be the one that divides opinion. And that is our complete class. I have broken it down, which will help you to understand what exactly you need to do in your research question. Now, let's understand what is a global issue. So when I say we had already, last class was focusing on local, global and national perspectives. What do you mean by global issue? Can you let me know in the chat quickly? If I talk about just my surrounding, if I talk about where let's say I live in Pune, Maharashtra. If I'm only talking from the perspective of problems we are facing in Pune, Maharashtra, that is not a global issue. But if I'm focusing on the topic that I am facing across the globe, extension of my local issue, that will be a global issue. The problem that doesn't just happen in your town, but affects people all over the world. Okay, that's your global issue. Now, how to verify that the question that you have chosen, the research question that you have chosen, is a global issue? First question you will ask your own self is, does it cross borders? If I am talking about, let's say, climate change, obviously it crosses borders. If I'm talking about artificial intelligence, crosses border. You can talk from different countries' perspective. If I talk about migration, poverty, all of these cross borders. That is the first question you will ask yourself before finalizing your research question. The second question will be, does it affect the future of the planet? Let's say I talk about discovery of penicillin. It has happened in past. It might or might not. It's not a topic that you can pick for your individual research because it will not impact your present and future. So it has to be very clearly, you should reflect upon your question. Now moving on to the next word, I would say two words in that golden sentence from your syllabus. What does divides opinion mean? It means that there is no right or wrong answer that everyone agrees on. It's a debate. If you choose a topic like should we control the production of plastic or how can we control plastic pollution caused in ocean? Tell me if that sentence divides opinion. Does it divides opinion? Absolutely no. It won't divide opinion. Why it won't divide opinion? Because students, all of you rather, will agree that yes, we should not throw plastic in ocean. There is no second thought about it. So don't try to pick a hero topic. Choose a topic which has no right or wrong and it's a debatable topic. One of my students, I remember, chose a topic about fast fashion, and she had talked about how it is impacting, whether it is good or bad. So she had given both the perspective of fast fashion, that how it's helping poor people to get clothes for cheap, and bad, how it is impacting the world. Okay, so the way she had framed the question, we had revamped it a little bit to make it more debatable. So, your second checklist should be you have to ask yourself if 10 people, if you ask 10 people, you should get at least two different strong answers. So, if you just pick obvious question that plastic pollution should be prevented, it's not what your research question should be about. It should not have obvious answer. It should be a debatable question. You have to do the second test, which is called as two-sided test. If you can't find a group of people who disagree with you, the topic is too simple and you will end up losing marks. Now, why this small act of just deciding your research question correctly is so important? Because your complete research is dependent on that. And let me tell you, this class is also applicable for your team project. So if you are deciding on the question for your team project, same strategy should be used to devise a research question, to devise a problem. Okay? Now, the third rule is the so what. So, in global perspective, your job isn't to solve the problem. Your job is to understand the people who argue about it. Your job is to understand the perspective of the people who argue about it. Your job is to understand, to justify, to pick evidences, to use the data present to validate the response, the arguments. That is your job. So it is one of the most important skill you are technically learning into this century, because everything else can be taken care of by AI except critical thinking. Even if ChatGPT is giving you ready-made answer, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't, still you should have that sense of critical thinking whether I should trust ChatGPT in this aspect or not. And hence this is one of the most important subject, and it is growing at this rate. The competition to get an A star is also growing at a higher rate for this subject. So yeah, in global perspective, your job isn't to solve the problem. And how will you check that? How will you verify it for your research question? If everyone agrees that there is nothing to analyze, it's not a debatable question. You don't need to analyze. The answer is right there. If opinions are divided, you can compare different perspectives. You can compare different arguments. You can compare different evidences. You will have counterclaims, and hence that will make your research interesting. Thank you so much for the one who had liked this. I just saw it, and it actually kind of helped me understand that my strategy is going right to get an A star for my learners. I hope I am very clear until here. So let's quickly recap what are the verification method we learned. So the first strategy was you will ask yourself to, before you frame an individual research question, that does it cross borders? Two, does it affect the future of the planet? Three, if you ask 10 people, you should get at least two different strong answers. Four, the two-sided test. If you can't find a group of people who disagrees with you, the topic is too simple to be chosen for, as a research question. Next, if everyone agrees, there's nothing to analyze. Don't pick it up as your research question. If your opinions are divided, you can compare perspectives, you can compare arguments, you can compare evidences, you can compare counterclaims, so on and so forth. And this is also the strategy that you will technically use for your team project as well. So share this lesson with your team members for them to understand how to choose the right topic for your team project as well. Now, let's look at some examples. The first example, if you look at, is pollution is bad. If you look at this example, no divides opinions, no, because everyone will agree. Who will say pollution is not bad? Pollution is not bad, pollution is good for me. There is nothing to debate about this topic. Don't choose this research question completely. Next, should we all ban plastic packaging? Divides opinions to some extent, I would say. Businesses say no because it will be very difficult for them to then package their products and sell, because sustainable packaging are a little expensive, but activists will say yes. It divides opinion to some extent. But if I am reviewing this question, I will definitely narrow it down further. Obviously, we are going to focus on how to narrow down the question further in our Saturday's live class. Saturday's members only live class, because I want the serious learners only to join these classes, Saturday's class, because I'm going to sit with your questions which you uploaded on Google Classroom. Third example is education is important. Who will say no? All of us will say yes. Yes, education is important. So it's not a great topic. Fourth one, should all university education be free? Yes. Students say yes. Taxpayers, government might say no. If you are going to a different country to do that education, they might say no. Why a child from coming from a different country should be given a free education in our country with our taxpayers' money? So it's a debatable topic. I hope I am able to touch base upon the points wherein what are the trigger points for you before you analyze and finalize your research question for your individual report and team project. Now, I have curated a complete checklist that before you start your individual report or your team project, ask yourself these three questions. What are the three questions that you're going to ask yourself? The first question is the but test. It should be, can I start a sentence with, I believe X, but some people believe Y because. If yes, that checkbox gets a tick for that research question. You have to get all three tick marks in the check boxes. Okay? The second checklist is the stakeholder test. Can I name two different groups of people who want different things? A farmer versus a factory owner, an activist versus a business owner, government versus people. Yes? So you have to identify the stakeholders involved and who are the different stakeholders whose perspectives you can touch base upon to answer this question for your research question. The next is the evidence test. Okay, I didn't number it as three. This is the third one. The evidence test. Can I find articles that argue for the idea and articles that argue against it? Many a times, if we have in our head, okay, this is the point I'm going to support for individual research question, I will end up only researching about the article which will support my perspective. But that is not what an A-star student will do. An A-star student will pick very strong perspective as counterclaims as well, because he or she should be able to defend it very well, justify it, use the argument and use it in a correct format. I hope I am able to help you understand how to now frame a good research question. And the summary, as I've already talked about, is don't pick a hero topic. A hero topic is one where you just try to save the world, why we should stop hunger, why we should stop pollution, why there should be education for all. Please don't go for that. Instead, pick a tension topic, because then you will be able to actually enjoy the research, put the arguments, perspectives, and you never know, your own perspective will evolve by the end of the research. And that's what we want to happen. We want to analyze, we want to evaluate, and then we want to also reflect upon in the conclusion of individual report or team project of what is my understanding, how I ended up evolving, how my thought process ended up evolving in this. So tension equals marks. Tension in your individual report, to be precise, IR, tension in your IR research question equals marks. All right. Now, let us do a small task. I'm going to share some questions on my screen. Each question below has one major flaw. Okay. In the chat, type the strategy. Type the strategy it's missing and your improved version. The first question is education good? That is your research question. If a child has written that research question, how will you rephrase it? AK Mega Night. Hello, ma'am. I am actually from ICSE. Is there anything like people who studied in IGCSE has an advantage in joining the Cambridge University? See, Megha, the advantage here is you will end up having that those skills required to be an international learner, because right from grade zero, they focus on the right skills, and that's the major advantage. You will not see the major advantage that you will see is in the skill of a learner more than the marks, because marks depends upon how hard the child is working, but skill is something that is actually that is developed looking at the curriculum and the syllabus and everything else. And yes, there is a major advantage. So answer is yes, there is a major advantage. I hope I have answered your question, Megha. AK Mega Night. Yeah, Mega Night. Okay. AK Mega Night. Yeah. All right. So, guys, let me know in the chat, is education good? How will you refine this question? One major flaw in the chat, type the strategy it's missing and your improved version. How will you refine this research question? You have to follow the rules I have shared in today's class. Is it a debatable question? Yes, it is better. Yes, it is better than ICSE to study abroad, definitely. Study in any international university, which can be in India or abroad, anywhere. So, coming back to the question, education is good. Now, if you look, what is missing over here? The focus. Education, it's not a debatable topic, it's for everybody. It is good. Divide, it is dividing. It is not creating that divide of people. All will agree that yes, it is good. Who will say education is not good? Rather, we can fix it to a question like, should university education be free for all students? If you write this question, what will happen? There will be people who will say no. There will be group of people who will say yes. Government might say no because it will add on to the burden of taxpayers. Students will say yes. There might be some answers, there might be a lot of articles involved wherein we will be able to niche down, we will be able to put right arguments in this topic. Now, should university education be free for all students? Now, I will also teach you in our Saturday's membership, Saturday's live class, that how we are going to actually pick the topic and even refine it further to get the best research question. But for now, just understand how to differentiate good and bad in your mind. Okay, the next question for you all. Okay, Megha, not an issue. You can switch to A levels in grade 11th and 12th. AK Megha, you can go for, after you complete your ICSE board exams, you can do it well, get good grades, switch to A levels or IB curriculum. A level is what I will suggest you. IB is not for you at this stage unless and until you have done a great bridging course from ICSE to IB. A level you can manage easily. I hope I have answered your question. All right, guys. So, how does Cambridge climate change affect the world? Is this a great question? Most welcome, AK Mega Knight CR. I hope I have answered your question. Um, yes. How does climate change affect the world? Climate change can affect the world how? This question is a great research question. Thanks. Okay, great. I have answered your question. All right. Yes, it is not definitely a debatable question, because all of you will agree to this part that yes, climate change affect the world and No doubt it affects. There's nothing to argue about it. So it's not a great topic. But how will you refine it further? You will focus on focus plus scale. How does sea level rise threaten coastal communities in the Maldives? This is the first level of refinement. We can obviously refine it even more, which we will look at when we will learn those strategies later to this Saturday. But I hope it's clear. Now, in this question, there is a clear demarcated difference in sea level rise threatened coastal communities in the Maldives. And the first question is, how does climate change affect the world? Great. All right. Now, the third question is, what do people think about artificial intelligence? Too broad? It is debatable now. I am from Pune. I am from Pune. My office is located in Pune. Although I have students from across the globe, Indonesia, Malaysia, Dubai, everywhere. Rather, I can name any country. There are few names you have not even heard of. Well, I myself heard of those countries for the first time. But yes, I am from Pune, India. Why do people think? What do people think about artificial intelligence? Now, one, this question is debatable, yes, but it is a very, very broad question. It is not narrowing down. So, can we rephrase it like, should AI be regulated to prevent job displacement in manufacturing? Getting my point? Okay, this is level one refinement of your research question. I hope you got the gist of how to refine your research questions better. Okay, all right. Okay, yes, Mega. Yes, AK Mega Knight. I have a lot of students from Bangalore. I have a lot of students from Hyderabad. So, yeah, I visit these cities quite often as well. All right, guys. So, in today's class, a quick recap what we learned was um, we learned about this. Okay. Our learning objective was understand the steps to frame individual research question. Okay. All right. That was all about today's class. Now, if you have any doubts, I can take your doubts in the chat here with respect to your research question. And don't forget to join my Saturday's live classes. That will be the extension of today's class, wherein we will narrow down your research question even more. The link to join us, you will get it in the description. And it's a member only class. And secondly, for A Star Legacy batch, also if you would want to join, you will be able to find the link for the same in the description. Google Classroom, all the assignments I will be uploading on Google. Now, for today's class, the assignment is very simple. I'm only going to upload wherein you have to just write your research question. For all those who will be joining my Saturday's membership classes, I am going to refine it even further, that narrowed down cohort. It's there in the Google Classroom. So check Google Classroom. If you have any question, do let me know. Okay, AK Mega Knight's doubts. Oh, no doubt, ma'am. Okay, thank you, beta. Anybody else who has any doubt, please let me know in the chat. If no doubt, we will exit, we will disperse. By the way, if I can get to know how many of you are joining. So I got to know AK Mega Knight has joined from Karnataka. Where are you guys? Where are you from? Let us see which part of the world we all are from. I am from Pune. I have joined from Pune, Maharashtra, India. Okay. All right, guys. So see you in the next class, which will be coming Saturday, to discuss and refine your research questions. Subscribe to this channel if you have not yet. And if you have any question with respect to Cambridge curriculum, IB curriculum, feel free to post it here. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. And I hope it was worth your time and energy. See you in the next class. Bye, everyone. Thank you, beta. AK Mega Nights. Yeah, thank you so much, beta. Bye bye.